There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Matt, and we have Angel here as well. Hi, Angel, again.
Hi, Matt.
All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and get us started just talking a little bit about what we are going to be talking about tonight, and then we're going to get jump right on in here. So let me go ahead and just share my screen really quick here.
Yeah, this week has been a very exciting week because NASA already posted all of their challenges and they already opened the function so you can form your team now. We already have our first team set up in our Dallas location. Congratulations to them.
Awesome. Great. Great. We're going to talk about that. And actually, let's go ahead and talk about our agenda. All right, here we go. So we are going to start talking about this year's updates. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and so there's been some new changes along with the new website and how they organize things, and so we want to kind of address those. And those two things that are popular topics are the things that just were released a couple days ago, as Angel mentioned, signing up a team, and also the Space Apps Connect, how to go about signing up for that and what that looks like. After that, we'll go ahead and start introducing the local judges for Dallas. And I'm also going to hear from a participant's perspective from Helen, the team captain of 4 Seeds, the global winner from 2021. Then we'll go ahead and start talking about some team building tips, as well as submission guidelines and specifications. And also we'll end here with how to create a great video. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat. We'll address those at the very end. And we'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, let's talk about their website. So I was kind of looking at their website, and I realized that their resources menu is also a clickable link, which isn't apparent, at least wasn't to me. It's a little bit of a change. Last year they had a sub menu, so I requested they add that, but for now it'll look like this. So let's head on over to their page here so you can see exactly what I mean here. Let me jump on over to the Space Apps Challenge. So normally you would see like a drop down and you would click on one of these things, but there's actually a lot more if I just click right here. And so this is something that's kind of a little bit hidden this year. So just everyone keep in mind on that. These are all clickable except for this one here. This one doesn't do anything. But to find all the resources that they have laid out right now, it's going to be here, just clicking on the resources menu. Now get you to this page, which has a link to all of their new stuff. And there's a lot of great information in here. And the first one we're going to talk about is, let me jump over here to make sure I got the right one. There we go, creating a new team. So they actually talk about that and show some great pictures. And that's all over here in this little section in the team formation guide. So let me go ahead and jump to that right now, create a new team. So as Angel mentioned, this has been a function that's been available since the 26th. I think it started on the night, the 26th. And there's actually 3 ways, as they highlight here, to create a team. So I'm just going to highlight these. But once again, this is all from the resources. Click on that resources name, and you can get to this. So one way is to go and find a team. And you can do that by going down to find a team. And from there, they have a create a team button. And usually you could search for a team if you're looking for a particular challenge, but they have that button from there. And then, of course, you can create the fields that are needed. It's a little hard to read on this little graphic, but the basic things they're looking for are the team name, the challenge that you're looking to do, a team photo. And if you're looking for a team, they're asking what type of skills you kind of don't have in your group, right? Because you're looking for other team members. So this is one way of doing that. Another way is going, and this is the way I usually recommend, because a lot of our teams are already starting to form because they already have had those conversations this past week or so to actually know which challenge you're going to go to. So if you go the second way here is to go to the challenge pages and pick your challenge. And when you're on the challenge page, here's an example here. They have a join the challenge button, and then from there, create a team. Now, remember, with all of these, one person is going to create that team, and then others will be invited. And there's a couple of ways. We'll kind of talk about that as well. The third way that they have listed down here is from your local event page. So if you're on Dallas's webpage, here they have an example. There's a create a team button there as well. So all these ways will lead you to be able to create a team, whatever's easiest way for you. I usually recommend the challenges way, but whatever way is easiest. Now, for once that one person has created the team, they can then start inviting the other team members to their page, right? So there's a button. This is a little bit trickier, and so they show a couple of pictures of this, harder to recreate, because once you create a team, you have to go back and delete it. But here's an example how this works. So first of all, you set up your team. We kind of already covered that part. Let me jump down here. So once that happens, you're able to do one of two things. One, you can request to join a team, and that will allow you to join a team that's kind of open, looking for members. So that's one way. But that would be if you are looking for certain skills or something like that. They also have a way too of using like a code as well to be able to do that. So let me go ahead and click on this one. That will kind of go into that and show a little bit of that in the graphic here as well, I believe. So I'll go ahead and go and see if they show it what it looks like. Oh, it's the same one. I don't think I have a picture of this one. I thought I did. Sorry. Let me go ahead and well, let me just show what it looks like on their page here again. Let me go to this part. So if you were doing the challenges way and you did, look for a specific challenge, what's cool about this is on the challenge page, you can they have a teams button here that will show which teams are signing up for this. You can see there's a lot of them already here. Some of them are already open for those skills. So if I were wanting to join this team, I could request to join team. So this is the way that they're kind of showing before. So this is one way you can connect it to make it, and then they would prove it. And then there's a lot of different other things there. We won't go through all the details because there's lots of like editing or deleting groups. All that is once again found in, we'll go to resources, jump down to, we got editing team pages here, joining and creating those pages. So all of that is listed out here. And it's pretty easy. As Angel mentioned, one of the teams from Dallas has already signed up, so that's great. And many more will be signing up, up until the October 7th when it launches. All right, so that is how you create a team. And now let's talk about the second thing, which is this Space Apps Connect. Well, last year they tried something new. They used Discord. This year they're doing something else new, and that is using GitHub. And so for that, let me jump back to the resources tab again. So once again, I would click on that resources. They have a great walkthrough down here all about the Space Apps Connect. And the one thing about GitHub is just like their website, you have to have a certain age. So for GitHub specifically, they list this. You must be age 13 years or older, and they don't permit anyone under 13. So if you are, let's say, a student and you're at 13 or 12 or something like that, you would want to contact have your parents look at it and be able to sign up, or a mentor could do this for you as well. And you could review what's on there, but you wouldn't be able to have those conversations with it. But here we have this one here, how to join the Space Apps Connect. And this has a great walkthrough of exactly where to go. Fortunately, the way this works is, as you see here, from your profile page, you'll always have a link. So I'm just going to open up another page here just to make it a little bit easier to show. And I'm already logged in over here. You can see my little MagicKid logo there. And so this is my profile picture. And if I click on it, there it is right there, Space Apps Connect. Now, if I click on this, I'm already logged in for GitHub. So it would jump me right to their page here. Now, if you haven't done that part, they go all through the process of what happens if you're looking at it without a GitHub account. First of all, you'd have a sign up. You'd enter your email, your password, your username, and then you have a little CAPTCHA test. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of laid out like a video game. You have to kind of do different things to be able to get to the next step. And once you get that CAPTCHA, they verify your email and you get a code, paste it. If you've ever created accounts before, it's going to look very familiar to a lot of other websites you've seen out there. So I did a lot of copying, pasting to get that code in there. And once you get to this page, it asks how many team members and are you a student or a teacher. There's actually a button here. You don't have to do any of this. There's actually a button on the bottom that will say, skip this for now. Basically, this is for them to create a group for with several layers. You could definitely do this, but if you don't have to do this step, this is just like an optional part. But of course, there's no joining the Space Apps. What you have to do is after you set up your account, it might ask if you want a pro account. It's not needed. You only need the free account. But there's no way of joining. What you do is you go to that link. Once again, you go back to that profile link. Once you've logged in and created your account, click on Space Apps Connect. It jumps you to this page here. It'll look like this in the top of your browser, github.com/nasa/space apps/discussions. So here, there's a lot of information here. I'm just going to highlight two places that are going to be really useful. So the first thing is the challenges. Now, when it gets to like closer to the actual event, so October 6th, so 7th, 8th, during the event, 6th, 7th, and the 8th, that is when you're going to be able to go to challenges here, and you'll have a discussion opened up with lots of replies. Right now, there was only a few of them because not all of the challenges are being discussed in here. And as they mentioned, you have to include the challenge name. So last year, if you were doing it last year, they had like certain channels that were set. This is more free flowing, but it does have a way of kind of identifying which things you're trying to get answered. Your questions you're trying to get answered by those specialists that created the challenges. So that is going to be a very useful section. The other thing I want to highlight is, of course, the different location events. Local events. So like, for example, Dallas. Now, they do have a page here that lists them all out, and there is Dallas up here, but they're kind of not in alphabetical order. I think it's just when they were created or when they're last commented on. So another way of getting to this page, a really easy way, is just to use this little search bar. You can see there's already some search terms in there. It's looking for the category of local events. So that's great. That's what I want. I'm going to type in the location, Dallas, and all of the locations already have a channel set up by the Go team. And here you see it right there, Dallas, Texas. So if I click on it, you'll see it's just a little picture here with me talking about tonight's meeting, which you guys are all at. And of course, that replay. And once again, after today's replay, once it's uploaded, I'll go back here and be able to post that link. So it's very easy to find for everybody. If you've never used GitHub before, which I hadn't until I tested this out, there are a couple of different things I do want to note. In fact, I actually have a little video here that I kind of made earlier, a kind of little silent video that kind of walks through the process. So that way I can kind of talk through it, like exactly how this works. So some of the things I already showed, but I'll go ahead and talk about this over here. So once again, you get to this from that little link there on your profile page, the Space Apps Connect link. Once you're logged in, of course, you have a page looking like this. As like I mentioned, there's that local events, as I talked about earlier. And of course, if you're not in Dallas, you're in somewhere else, it might be on that list, but you might have to look for it just like I did earlier, typing in that name and just pressing return. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to be able to find it. Now, if you've never used it for posting, it actually can post some pictures, which is nice, and also links too. So here's me kind of posting the picture for tonight, and it's just a matter of dragging and dropping the image. You see it's uploading that image there, and it just takes a moment for it to be uploaded, and then it creates this really funny looking like numbers and such, and that's just how it's formatted. So what I usually recommend, before you click on comment, there's a preview button so you can actually test to make sure it's going to look like you think it's going to. So I always recommend doing that, pressing that preview and then commenting, making sure the image loads up or whatever, because when it's all written out as text like that, it's a little hard to see. Same thing for links as well. You can go ahead and put that in there. You can highlight something, and there's a little links button. Looks like a little link there. And what's cool about this is you click on this link, and you see it's already highlighted in blue right here. And that means I usually just copy and paste. So I just pasted my link right in there. And once again, it looks kind of funny unless you click on that preview, and then it looks like you'd expect. Once you click on that reply, then it loads up. So this works for any type of comment on anything of the things. Once again, here is the link if you want to get to it, but that is just a quick example of what it looks like to post on the Space Apps Connect. So it's really cool. It's a new again this year. They're trying out something new. So we'll see how it goes. But all the information is there, and it's really easy to find. So, but there's a lot of features that GitHub has. So I don't recommend looking at all of it because you might get lost. But just keep an eye on those two spots as I mentioned. And there are some things, if you ever get lost, there is a discussions tab that will always take you back to the main discussion page that you saw before. Sometimes there's things like code and pull. These are other things that you might need if you're doing some programming. You might already be familiar with GitHub, but the way they're using it here is more as just for the discussion board part. So that is how Space App Connect works this year. Pretty cool. All right, great. Let me go ahead and just go on to the next one here. I think I already talked about how to get there. Great. And the next part here is going to be talking about the local judges. All right, and I believe we're going to have Helen. Is Helen here? I don't know if I see her name
Yeah,
there.
yeah, she's coming. She's coming
Okay,
soon.
okay, great. No worries. All
So
right. So if you have any questions, I'll jump back to this page for a second here. If you have any questions about how the Space App Connect works, feel free to put it in the chat, and we can try to help address those at the end of the meeting. Or I might be able to address it now if we're waiting for Ellen to log on. But one of the things I do want to mention is, that there are a lot of great, as I mentioned, a lot of different features and a lot of different conversations. So even if you're challenged, you already have, once your team is, already has met, you know your challenges, and right on that starting day at 9 a.m., you can go ahead and check out you can see other questions asked as well. And that might help clarify some of the questions you might have. Maybe someone already asked a question, or if they don't see an answer and you have a question specific about what NASA, the people that are going to be judging, are looking for, you can post that all on that page in that section that we saw earlier. So it's a great handy feature for those that are going to be starting right at 9 a.m. your local time, wherever that is.
yeah, so here I would like to mention about this MatchKit do host several locations. So we have a San Marino location, Chino Hills location, and the Dallas location. So when you see the presentation, you will see the different locations, just information as well. So here today, let's welcome our Chino Hills location first. We have our local lead. Chris, are you there? Ellen?
Yes. Yes, we are here.
Yes, please introduce your location judge first. Thank you.
Yes, my name's Alan. I'm from Chino Hills, and I'm gonna tell you who the three judges are. We have Jin Han, and I would like to just give her credentials. She has a PhD in material science and engineering, and also a senior scientist. She's a senior scientist at Corporate Core Technologies. Next, we have. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Sorry. Next, we have Alex Wilson. He is a chief technology officer at Noontime Service Corporation. And it looks like he has a degree at the University of Wisconsin in information systems. Is that correct? I believe. And he's also a lead programmer. And our third judge is Anthony Tai. I'm sorry, guys. These are all doctors. I believe these are all doctors also, my bad. Anthony Tai is, he has a PhD from the University of California, Irvine, and that's in material science and engineering. He has over 10 years of research and development experience in a SP 500 company and over 5 years teaching experience with children 6 to 12 years old. Also, he is the Math Kangaroo Program Director and Coach in Irvine International Academy. Very impressive, all three of the judges.
Thank you, Ellen.
And
Thank you.
I believe that is it. No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So now let's welcome Helen to introduce the Dallas local judges team.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so our first judge is Dr. Jonathan Jiang, and he is the senior research scientist at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and he's also the principal scientist for NASA's JPL. And here's a list of his current projects, and yeah, that's it. He works at California Institute of Technology too. All right, next is Hadi Malani. I hope I pronounced that right. And he is an aerospace engineer, and he's also an astronaut candidate. So Hadi actually worked with a lot of different agencies around the world, and he's also on Forbes 30 under 30, Italy, I think. And he currently works in the aerospace sector and has his own art gallery that's aerospace related. So our third judge is Elise Cornwall, and she's head of teaching at Stanford for Stanford's computer science classes. So the famous CS 106A and CS 106B, which is the programming abstraction and methodology classes at Stanford. These are the core classes in computer science at Stanford. And she's the head of teaching and as well as assistant for those classes.
Okay, thank you to local lead teams member to introduce our local judges team. So we can see that we have invited a lot of professional guys to be this year's judges team. They are from the NASA different internship institutions, and also from lots of famous colleges like Caltech and Stanford, and also not only about the scientist, but we also invite somebody, they combine the scientist and the business and art together. Maybe they can bring different kind of thinking for our students. So they will judge your project. I think if you have a chance, let this judges see your project. That's already be one part of the fun things in this activity. So now we have another thing, like we'll welcome our used winner, our previous winner team's leader, Helen, to introduce us. How did you prepare your NASA Space Challenge like 2 years ago?
All right, so 2 years ago, our team, which is 4 seeds, we won the 2021 NASA Space App Challenge for Galactic Impact, which is the most impact in space and on Earth, I believe. And it was our first year, so we actually did not know a lot. But what we did was we researched all of the provided challenges. So I think this year there's 31 of them. I would suggest everyone to browse through those challenges, look at the descriptions. And good thing about this year is that they have a filter option. So you could filter what kind of challenges that fits your interest and difficulty level. And for us, we chose a challenge that was we were most familiar with. So that year, the challenge was space farming. And I had previous experience in aeroponics, which is like a soil-free farming method. So our team just collectively decided to do that project because we were most familiar with and we had an idea in mind already. Yeah, so maybe, first research all of the challenges, see which one you like or which one you have a very good understanding of. And then that would be the one that I suggest everyone to go with.
Okay, that's a great suggestion for all the team of this year. So Matt, let's continue our topics. Thank you, Helen.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our slide deck here. And next we're gonna be talking about team building tips. So as mentioned, there's already great resources on the Space Apps website. So I'll kind of point to one of the things that they have there, and then I'll go ahead and add some things to it. So let me head on back to our handy dandy resources tab here. I'm just going to click on resources once again. And we have a lot of information about what types of things that will help us. Now, there is actually going to be a section that's going to be added as well. It's not here yet, and it's supposed to be coming out soon, towards the end of September is what it said. So I'm going to be showcasing that in just a little bit. But this team formation quick tips here is listed right at the top right here. And what this is it kind of talks a little bit about some of the things we kind of mentioned last week, if you were watching last week or here last week, about some of the main things that they recommend. The max is 6. They actually have recommend 4 to 5 members just to kind of keep the conversations flowing amongst the team members. And they also mention all the different other aspects. So we'll go ahead and feel free to read all this. But one thing I did want to really highlight is let me see, let me jump back to I think I highlighted it here, that they mention, and as do we, to find other team members with skills that complement your own. All right, now what does that mean? Well, what skills are you already familiar with that you've already had some practice with? you want to come to your team with that strength. That way you can all be doing certain different things. Of course, you're always helping each other out, but having one person that's kind of dedicated to that is going to make the all the things that have to happen work together quite well. So here's the things I'm going to add as that. So some suggestions for responsibilities, and these you can name whatever you want to call, but these are kind of the names we usually kind of recommend. You might have a lead programmer, someone that's in charge of the coding here. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger for everybody. So that's someone who's in charge of coding, or if you're doing like a mock-up that doesn't have all the coding, maybe in something like we're just showing what your program would look like. Then you might have somebody that's programming, making the animations within that. There's a lot of different websites that make mock-ups of programs without having to know lots and lots of code in there. And also, of course, showing kind of like all that information for the purpose of your demo video, which we're going to get into in a little bit. Another person might be someone that's dedicated to the art design. That might be someone who draws sketches or does art or finds art or whatever you're trying to do to kind of showcase your idea. Or it might be someone who does 3D modeling as well. So somebody who's familiar with doing some mock-ups of 3D modeling or even more complex things as well, depending on which challenge you're choosing. Of course, you're also going to need someone to be a head writer as well. This is going to be the person that's going to be responsible for all the stuff that you're going to have to type up. We're going to get to that in just a second, as well as making sure the submission form is constantly being updated. And then, of course, the video editor for that 30-second video, which we're going to talk about. And that's the person that's in charge of gathering all those elements, all the things that are showcasing what your idea is into a 30-second video. And of course, the researcher. This person would be the one that makes sure that makes sure to categorize all the notes and help make sure that you're citing. On all projects, they should have a citation of what information you're pulling from. Remember, the whole purpose of Space Apps is to be able to remix information. So they have some suggestions of places you could start, or you can link to something else or comment where you're getting this information from NASA or some of the other partners. All right, so what does that mean now? So what can we do now? Well, we can't start working on the project. Of course, we mentioned that last time, and you can't start working on the project until the actual start date at 9 a.m. in your local time. But what we can do, of course, right now is organize your teams on the website, as we kind of mentioned before. Teams are already starting to do that, as you saw, and as Angel mentioned. You want to make sure that your challenge is already chosen. If you haven't done that yet, that's okay. You still have some time. The process for that is just to look at all the challenges and narrow down your favorites, and then start looking at those resources and seeing if what one kind of speaks to your team, and that you can vote on that one and choose that one that will be the one challenge you can do this year. A lot of times we recommend doing all that and then deciding on a team name. A lot of fun team names usually have to do with the challenge, so that's why we recommend it that way. We do recommend that you keep a team name that's going to be something that's professional or kind of fun, but not too weird and goofy, because it is something that will be up there forever. So you can go back and see all the previous years on the website, and you can see that there's some really kind of out there names. So you'll make sure that this is something that you'll be pointing to throughout your career. So you want to make sure that you choose a name that's going to be fun, but also professional. They do have a section for yourself as a profile. As I showed before, I just kind of use the Magic Kid logo, but you might use your real photo, or you might draw a picture of yourself or something like that. Whatever you want to do, have that ready to go so yourself is ready. And that leads also to the team logo. A team logo could be drawn or gathered together. Maybe the art person creates it, or maybe everyone kind of does it together. Or it could be created in a different program. Whatever it is you want, think of this as your, the picture that's going to represent your team. So whatever it is that you want to do that kind of shows your team in a fun way, but also professional, once again, and no copyrighted images, just like the user images. The next thing, of course, you want to do is have that conversation. You probably already have had the conversation, but what is everyone going to be doing? How are you going to divide all the different things that have to be done? Know what each other's strengths are and what skills may be still needed. If you have 4 of you in a team and you realize one of you isn't very, no one's really strong at video editing, you might find someone who fits that need. Then you want to have at least a brief discussion of how your time arrangement is going to work. What we usually recommend, we'll talk about more detailed things about how the weekend is actually going to go. We suggest it. but in a general sense, you want to have an idea of what schedules you have. Is there anybody that's not available? They maybe have a class, maybe doing something else at a certain time, or they have a certain time they know they're going to go to sleep. Though having a list where everyone knows each other's schedule allows you then to create a way of when the working times are, and we're going to talk about that once again later, but at least knowing if there's any big things that are going to kind of cause problems. And once again, keep in mind that even if you have big blocks of time that are taken up by other things, that's okay too. Just make sure that you communicate well with your team, and so that way everyone's aware of it. You also might want to have a pre-meeting to kind of get all those other things I mentioned, like the team logo and all that stuff ready to go, because that's not related to the challenge itself. It's more about like prep and kind of framing your team as a group. And of course, they've often asked for a team motto, and this might just be a little sentence. You can see a lot of examples on other teams right now. They'll have their picture and like a team motto, whatever they want to say. So pick what those things are, because you can put it on your website on your team page, and they'll be able to showcase that when throughout the event. All right, so submission guidelines. So as I mentioned, they don't have submission guidelines yet on their page. When they do, it will be at the resources tab. So if I go back to this resources tab, you will notice that we don't have a section about it yet. They do talk about judging kind of in a general sense, but they don't have like a walkthrough of all the different submissions. So in the meantime, it might come in the next day or two, and once it does, I'll update it on our GitHub discussion page. But in the meantime, we can take a look at what they've done in previous years. So we can go back to last year's webpage and take a look at what it showed then, and then kind of glean some ideas of what you might need to consider for this year. So let's just walk through how we can do that. All right, so let me jump to the wrong page here. Let me jump over to this page. Okay, so it's not yet available. In their frequently asked questions, it says that it's going to be available in September. So I'm assuming that's true. Still have a couple days left, so maybe they haven't got up there yet. But you see that project submission guide is one of the topics that is going to be listed here. So it's probably going to be maybe over here somewhere, I guess. So keep an eye on that when that arrives. In the meantime, though, we can go back to last year's 2022. You can see they have a way to do that. I'm going to put this in the chat as well. I also have a little QR code if you want to use that. So I'll kind of grab this and put this in the chat here, and I'll kind of leave this here if you want. So this is how it was last year, and we'll go to their frequently asked page last year, and you can see what it looks like then. Okay, so that is that. I put in the chat as well. And this right here, you can see it's the 2022, so last year's page. And if I scroll down and have all the same frequently asked questions, the chat is referring to last year's chat. So keep in mind, a lot of this stuff won't pertain to anything. But the thing we are going to look at is the project submission guide. And if I click on this, you can see right down there on the bottom of the screen, it's actually a PDF. So if I click on this, it'll open up that PDF and you can download it. And until the new one comes out, you can kind of use this as a mini guideline until then. So one of the things I want to highlight on this is there's a lot of great information in here. Once again, there's going to be some stuff that may look a little bit different once they've released this year's version. But the things that they've consistently had for the past several years is this information here. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see this a little bit better here. So they kind of talk about, and you can kind of look at other past projects. So for example, I have 4 seeds loaded up over here. You can kind of see the information with these titles of what is being typed in by the teams. All these different links, all this information, you always have like what they're asking. And on their page, it kind of explain a little bit more. And here, they kind of list it out in more detail. So for example, you have your high level project summary, and you have a couple questions of things you can be considering as you're answering these. So this is, once again, a great resource to keep in mind until the new one's released, which will have some updates. I don't know which updates yet because I haven't seen it yet, but if it's going to be similar to this one, I imagine. You can see they have links to the final project. That's where you're uploading your whole project. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's some other information. They have a couple other options listed there, as well as the demo, and that might be that video we were going to talk about. They also mentioned a slideshow, which is another great way of showcasing. However, with slideshows, you're usually limited on what you can show on a screen. With video, you can be talking while showing, especially something that's in 3D. It's a little bit easier to kind of to showcase. So we usually recommend the videos, but you can see all those information about here. They basically say we don't host those videos on websites. You have to put on something like YouTube. Make sure when you do that they're public links. That way they can be seen by the judges. And of course, you have detailed project description. It goes much detail here about other information here. I won't go all through all this right now, but you can see that one of the main things that they mention is that references tab, which is, you know, where did I get this information? We got our ideas from something that NASA wrote, something we saw on the ESA's website, the European Space Agency's website, or wherever, one of the other 13 partners that they have. Where did you find this information that you're remixing or getting your ideas from? So all this information is required for the submission. So that is all listed on here. And one of the things they mention briefly, and I want to really highlight this because it tripped up a lot of people last year and the year before too, actually, is don't wait until the last minute to submit. Don't think of it like, I've submitted and that's it. That's the one, I can only press the button once. It doesn't really work that way. You can submit and then update it and submit again, and then update it and submit again. So what we recommend is to fill out all this information as soon as you can, and then continue to upgrade until your time runs out. Of course, you can't update past that your deadline, past that deadline, or whenever you go to sleep that night on Sunday night. But this is something that you can start publishing and republishing and republishing. They also have a saved draft, but keep in mind, this is where we've seen this happen with a couple teams, as I mentioned. Saved draft doesn't show up publicly. You can see it, but not anybody else. So make sure to click on that submit, have someone else check the link if you need to, one of your mentors or a friend or anybody, or on a different computer, just to make sure it's live and can be seen. That's why we recommend pressing that submit button and updating it. So that way you can always make sure something's going up. All right, so the judges can see it. A lot of disappointed teams last year happened because they thought it was submitted, they thought they were done, they went to sleep, woke up the next day, hey, your project was, you missed the deadline and now you can't see it. And they've done all this work, weren't able to show it because they pressed the wrong button. So keep in mind, it'll probably be something similar again this year. We recommend highly to submit that. All right, so let me jump back to my slide deck, make sure I didn't forget anything here. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to put that in the chat. Here it is again, submit first and upgrade later. All right, something that we definitely embrace. All right, and one of the other things that's also listed on here too, and here's a quick little preview here. They have a page that they actually brought out, I think it was last year or before, but it's at the very end here, and I'll probably do it again because it's such a great walkthrough. And I'm gonna have Angel kind of talk about this in more detail, but this 30 seconds lays out how you could organize your video to be able to showcase your idea in that 30 seconds. 30 seconds seems, sometimes it feels long, sometimes it feels short. And they kind of really outline here on this page what that looks like, or could look like. Of course, you can watch other videos and see how other people have done it, but this really lays out a great format. And to kind of talk about this in a little bit more detail, Angel's going to kind of take over here. But yeah, once again, if you have any questions, put them in the chat there.
Yeah, first I would like to add some facts of the previous years. Yes, lots of petty things happened. Like once a team, they try to have the last minute to present they already submitted their draft. They remember this, and they want to at the last minute to add the project link to the official document, but they forget. And then they have submitted all the things, but they didn't really have the exactly project link. So that's make a lot of pity. So every year we all have some students have this kind of experience. We know you guys are young people, but please organize your work as good as you can. So yeah, I think Matt did a great explanation. That's submit it first and then you can update it. So that's something we really recommend. And even though your link doesn't really look good, just put there, just to be relaxed. We have all the judges contacted, so no judges will look into your project after everything finished, and they begin their judge work just 2 days later. Then everyone submit the things, and the NASA check the first to make sure someone qualified to the next process. Then the judges will see your project. So even if the link didn't really finish, you can just put them there. So that's something we would like to mention. Another thing I would like to say that last year there were a lot of people to add a link like a website or GitHub or something. But this brings another problem, like they can continue update their website, which means they add a link there. But when after they submit their project, they can continue update their project. That's not really recommended because please remember all the things you done on internet will have some record. So don't do that, please, because that will be kind of cheating. And after you submit everything, after the time is out, so please don't change anything of your project. So that's something I would like to remind everyone here. So let's go back to a topic of the video. So I think that's this actually is the most fun part of this competition as well, because some people, and we really recommend most of our participants can submit a video first, because usually video will be more attractive than just the slides. In the video, you can add sounds, you can add explanations, you can add animations to describe your project better. But you only have 30 seconds. So Matt says sometimes long, sometimes short, but in this kind of situation, you are always thinking, oh my God, what can I do in 30 seconds? But that is a very, very specific timeline for you, how to make your video good. So first, you need to show your name and your team's name and introduce your team. That's very important because people want to know who did this project. And then you need to give some reason why you choose this challenging, but this just a 2 seconds. Imagine how you're gonna do that in 2 seconds. So maybe just some unique reason and some very special reason how you select this challenge out of that 30 seconds, 30 challenges. And then you need to show your solution, make your solutions as clear as you can. So like what kind of thing you solve for the future human or like for the spaceman, and what's the project the people can gain from your project, and what is the opportunity. So only 5 seconds, you need to finish this conversation. And then you need to describe your idea clear in 10 seconds. And then you have the 20 seconds to like just like make this kind of thing like a clear, like what will your idea change, and also make people understand why this is important. So as you can see, like all this video, most I'm make your project attractive for the judges, make them understanding they need to click into your project to see the details. So that's the most important thing. It's more like an advertisement of your project. So you need to make it fun, make it bring some good energy to the people who see this 30-second video. So that's something we think. And we have lots of team. They try to say more in this 30 seconds. They say, how can I speak quick? Blah, 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 and then make it speed up. So I think that's maybe okay, but when it's really, really quick and people cannot catch up what you are saying. So please believe that use this timeline, you can still make a great video to introduce your project to everyone. So that's something we would like to mention about. And we do have a lot of good video examples. You can search YouTube Magic Kid NASA to see our previous project videos very clear. But now I'm going to talking more like things about technology way, like how to make your video looks fancy, looks fun, and how to make your video stand out from so many different kind of projects. So the most important tool I would like to recommend is using some green screen technology way, because you are talking about some space science. So you are talking about your project. If you really put your project in the space or on Mars, that on the moon, so that will be very fun. So that's a suggestion. So that's a reason Magic Kid also have a self-development application named Green Screen Journey. You can download this application if you search Angelical Ink or Magic Kid on App Store. You can download that application to use for real-time green screen movie making. So this is we also have some introduction how to use this green screen in our class. So here, I just go to brief all the functions. Like first thing, remember, you can always change your background. Another thing is like you can make yourself very smaller if you have a background, like you can recording a background of your robot or of anything, and then put yourself in this background. You can make yourself smaller and anything bigger. So this is one technology way of making all this kind of thing. So for example, if I make this cup, a video of this cup, and then I use this cup to like the background, and I put myself in front of the cup, so it's make a huge cup and a smaller size me. So that's one of the things. And you can also clone yourself here, but it's not really necessary because you have a team member, so you can also use them. And then you can make an interesting story. That's very, very important, how to showcase your idea. And sometimes you are not only use the screen like the background. You can use the screen on top of a table to make some fun video, like your robot really landing on the Mars. So this is some of our elementary schools project that what they're doing. And also this team, they last year they got a solution for the Venus power system. So they have a green screen. You can see this is actually their project, and they put this project on Venus. They find a video of Venus from NASA official website, and then they use this video like a background, then put their stuffs into this movie. This is how they set up the whole thing. You can see, and this is because they will need to put this thing here, and they will need to open their robot, and they will showcase the small robot flying out of this mother robot. So they need to have one of their team member put himself all in green. You can find this kind of green suit in some online or in some store. And then this guy actually, he opened the box, and then he used a line and just have all this robot linked, and then just flying it out. Of course, he used some green things to tie these things together. So that's really fun, really cool, and that's a great movie. So you can find this movie on their project. So Matt, if you can find it, you can prepare well showcase later. So you can see it's really, really cool movie. Actually, it's make the project looks so fun. So, and also they had a lot of fun when they created this movie, I have to say. Yeah, so this is another example. And the third example is about the moon earthquake, moonquake. So this team, they are girls, so a lot of girls there. So they use very artist style and put their project into like this kind of artist style story with a lot of imaginations. It's so beautiful. And this is another team. We used to talking about them. They make an art way to showcase Jupiter to everyone. So they made this kind of wax machine with different motors, make them 10 different directions, and make this kind of thing looks like a cake. But that's actually, they think that's Jupiter. Okay, and they put themselves with the green decoration and they use the green screen genies. And then when they're shooting a video, all this green will take place by the Jupiter's color, because they use Jupiter's video to take place all these green things. So that makes their fashion show so different. Very cool. So yeah, so actually you can see all the winners, they use a lot of green screen technology. That exactly is. So this is one of the finalist project that nearing the top award. So these 3 kids, they use green screen so good. They make a story of their project, and they running in the space and running onto different kind of the planets, and they're delivering message to each other, and they make this video very cool. And in the video, they smiling, they bring a good energy. So all the judges like their project, even though actually this project has nothing like engineering knowledge or something like that. It's a board game, but they actually won the finalist award. Very cool. So Matt can show this, we can show the project later. So last one, we say when this project got the top award, I want to say that will be the difference of the top award. They also use video, but actually they didn't use green screen. They didn't. So you will see like, but I didn't say that if you don't use green screen, you can get top award. Okay, but how they got the top award with the video without green screen? Because they're going to have a project to solve problem for the spaceman, like planting in a spaceship for the spaceman or something. So they make this kind of thing. But you can see like they in their video, they have very clear picture to showcase their project with the picture to show how things works and show the data very clear. Show the data very clear. And also, they also have all the 3D modelings in their video and also have the user interface of their applications in the video. And also, they also have, when they introduce their team, they use this kind of picture. It's not a real picture. It's just 2-second video. But in this 2-second, the judges see this team. You see, this is a picture like have a good design because this picture show the team and show how they co-working together and show this device they are making and also show this 3D modeling they are making. And in this picture, you can see this is a great team. They have a great teamwork. So sometimes you need to think about how to showcase your team in a different way, make the judges understand that this is a good team. They co-working with each other so good. So yeah, they didn't use green screen, but they also showcase this great project. Okay, Matt, can you please show some of the winners' videos to us again, 30-second videos?
Sure. So one of the things I want to mention really quick is just highlight once again, like just Angel had mentioned about that deadline. Once that deadline happens in your local area, the judges will they'll look at it a couple days later after NASA has kind of finalized. But there have been a lot of teams that have been disqualified and that down the line every year. And so that's why it's really want to stress that do not make any changes. Even if you have an external website, there's ways of finding out, as Angel said, and other teams have made it up the ladder and then just been disqualified. So that is something you do not want to happen. They will find out if you have any, well, maybe I can kind of just change a couple things here. No, leave it as is. Imperfections are okay as long as you're kind of showcasing and have all the information there. Really want
yes, and actually sometimes details are not that important because the most important is your idea.
That's right. The other thing that Angel mentioned too, and I just want to kind of showcase this as well, is let me go ahead and share it here. The app you were talking about earlier, Green Screen Genius. You can find that, and the kids oftentimes will use that, things like iPads or iPhones, to be able to kind of have that live screen as she was talking about and see those changes as they're making the video. So I pulled up a couple of them here. We have a lot of them, so I'm going to put a link to them later on this video when I post it, as well as on our page as well, so you can see all of these. But by going back, just as Angel mentioned, lots of different great teams have had their different ideas posted here. Yeah. So what was that?
The first one, the 800. Yeah, this one.
All right. So this one here, let me go ahead and show you just a little video. Remember, these are the 30-second videos that are. This one right here, the 30-second video, the demo. The full project, usually a couple longer minutes. As Angel mentioned, we do have if you type in Magic Kids Space Apps, you'll be able to see some explanations, a little bit longer videos showcasing their ideas that they kind of showcased. But in this one, this shows that 30 seconds.
Home of one of the most harmful atmospheres, 460 degrees Celsius and corrosive. In order to last 60 days, instead of 1 over, there will be 6. Wheels will be difficult to use because of the high temperatures of the excess floor. Instead, we can use a low gravity and heavy atmosphere to our advantage and power propellers instead. Our battery will be similar to an Ambi battery. It works by using calcium alloy, antimony, and molten sodium electrolytes. To power our battery, we will use a combination of coolants, a radioisotope heater, and thermoelectric generators. The battery will rely on the heat of Venus in order to turn the bells inside.
Okay,
Yes.
so as Angel mentioned, here's that little clip of what she mentioned about how they did this in green screen to be able to showcase, using objects they'd kind of created to kind of showcase their idea on how that works on that. So it's a lot of fun. They had a lot of fun making it as well. Let me jump back here for a second. The other team that Angel mentioned was Aura, and they had a website that kind of listed, but they do so different projects will have different ways of kind of showcasing their ideas, but all the videos will kind of point to different aspects of it. So they had a lot of stuff that was on their website that they had hosted last year, and so all that information was there. And in these videos, if you just take a look at any of these, you can see that they're all going to be able to point out with all the information.
We're interested in 3D modeling and data analysis. So we created 3DM, the world's first interactive 3D moonquake map. It can plot moonquakes as well as display their type and magnitude using data graphing. It contains the surface as well as the internal structure of the moon to show deep and shallow moonquakes. 3DM can be viewed in 3 forms: a Python plotted map, a digital globe, and a VR interactive experience. The digital globe is an interactive 3D moon. Our Python data graphics function provides single and multi-channel plots, and we even provide you with a hands-on tutorial. In the future, 3DM can help space agencies plot and analyze moonquakes from anywhere.
All right. So in that little brief, they're following that formula of showcasing your team right off the bat and talk about your idea. And in this case, the challenge they chose was all about how to get information that was from when they did moonquakes on NASA back in the 70s, how they list that out in a 3D way. And there's actually 2 teams that used this challenge that won last year. Unfortunately, it wasn't our, but they
use the speed up voice. Actually, not that good, because the speed up voice is very not easy for people can hear that clearly. So we don't really recommend that. Can you please showcase the social space social that project from Q 2021?
Oh yeah. Let me jump back there. So so one of the other videos too, I'll kind of get this loaded up here.
Okay, you can showcase this one first. Yeah.
So Meowshins was the other one, and they used a green screen as well to kind of showcase their idea. Let me go ahead and show. I think they have maybe it's in the picture actually. They showed that. Here they go. They had showing that green screen movie and using it to kind of. It was all about taking art and from the images taken around Jupiter. So I think they showed this
We are the Meowshins, a group of cats living on Mars. There are 2 parts to our project. First, we built the Jupiter globe with the best robot parts, the earthquake and toilet. Our Jupiter globe can simulate the colorful bands which rotate in opposite directions.
Green screen.
A fashion show in space. Think of a period Jupiter inspired
Green screen.
Humans, green screen technology to project Jupiter on our globe. The theme of our fashion show is space. We hope to inspire a sense of unity and the need to explore space. We have massive knowledge to be gained about the universe is infinite. We need to work together to unlock its mystery. We are Meowshins. We are peace lovers.
All right, and as Angel mentioned last time, that this team, a lot of the people that worked for NASA really love this one, and they got the global finalist honorable mention, which is really high up there as well. But she said that they shared this one; they really love this video, and because it's such a unique take. But using the green screen, you can see how that worked there to kind of showcase that.
Yeah, I already find these 2 highest award. So actually, you can see what the award they finally get. You can feels like what kind of video can be more attractive for our judges. So this is the social spacing. They into the final list, considering like the top 30. So it's pretty good. It's really pretty good because that top 30 from 3,000 different projects. Let's see their video together. Well, I like this video.
Have you ever wanted to travel to different planets?
Okay, well, I always have.
Hi, we're the social spacing team, and we've taken on the challenge, Space Quest, the game. We have solved this challenge by creating a fun educational game called Spazio.
Spazio is a board game where players race through the galaxy on a scavenger hunt. The objective of the game is to be the first to explore and retrieve data from all the planets in the solar system and return to Earth safely.
Yeah, so that's the finalist project. So actually, you can see they use different source like the background, and they of course recording many times and link them into a real story. And they also need to add some words, like add some this kind of animations onto their video. So you can find a lot of useful applications. This is 2021 project. Actually, now you can find a lot of much more easy applications. Even Canva can make this kind of cool video very easy. So just pay attention, like to how to make this kind of video very clear for your judges to see your project. Okay, so let's see the top award winners project. Let's see. Oh, this is social spacing, and let's see the first is 30-second video. So you can see 30 seconds. You actually can do lots of things. Let's see. Okay, here it is.
Okay, good, got it.
Our team chose the topic Have Seasonal Travel to help scientists find innovative ways to solve food shortages on space missions. We named our model Infinite Pod. It creates opportunities for space travel with continuously regrowable crop capsules. We utilize aeroponics with a compact spray nozzle, including liquid nutrients to nurture our plant of choice, butterhead lettuce. The user may utilize a special folding shelf and UI for easy access to observe or collect the crops. This solution is the future of crop cultivation and compact farming.
Okay, this is their 30-second video. So today we talk about how to make a great video, and we already showcase all the wonderful videos of our winners project. Hopefully this year we can see more like interesting, fun, creative videos from you guys.
All right. Okay, great. Well, I don't see any questions. I guess we kind of covered it. I think the biggest questions I know a lot of people had were, about how the new changes to the website, as well as, some of this new information. So it's a lot to digest. Once again, this video will be published on YouTube right after our meeting. So if you came a little later, feel free to check it out. I'll also be posting on our GitHub page.
Before we end in this meeting, NASA Space Challenging, they have usually have a rule, actually a habit, like at the end of the meeting, everyone can turn on your camera, show your face, and we will have a screenshot of everyone's smile together, because lots of people join this, participate in this challenging virtually. So we're gonna send this photo to NASA as well to showcase we already have our second meeting together. And remember, next week we'll have our third meeting, so we are talking more detail about how to submission and how to make your project even great. Okay, can you turn on your camera and we can have a screenshot together? Hello?
All right, here comes
Thank you guys, thank you. Cool. Yes. Oliver, can you turn on your camera, please? Oh, it seems like Thank you. Okay. Everyone turn on your camera. We are going to have a smiling face screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. We got this one. We'll send this to NASA to tell them we did a great second meeting today, and welcome you guys to our third meeting. We're gonna talking about more details together. Hopefully all this useful information will help you have a fun experience and a really great project in this year's NASA Space Challenging.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Thank you.